Everybody, I'm standing next to a mason bee house that I installed at Glenfair Elementary School this week. And the mason bee is an amazing bee. It's not like the honeybee. It doesn't have a nest. Each mason bee creates its own little individual living space. And the mason bee is 100 times better pollinator than the honeybee. That's why they're so incredible. They're a native bee. They don't sting. So what they do is the female crawls into one of these little holes and lays an egg, and then she goes out into the playground and finds nectar from the plum trees or the dandelions or whatever, and she comes back, and next to the egg she leaves a little ball of nectar and pollen. And then what's so interesting, she goes and finds some mud just around on the ground, and she makes a little wall. Then she lays another egg, goes out and collects more nectar and leaves a little ball of nectar next to that egg, and then puts up another wall. That's why it's called a mason bee, because she works with mud. And she does that all spring long, and then in the summertime these little eggs hatch. They start eating the nectar ball that the female has laid or given them. They turn into a little larva, which is like a little tiny worm, and they get bigger and bigger. And then later in the summer, they spin a cocoon around themselves, and there they sit dormant all fall and all winter. And then in the spring, they hatch. And in that time, they've metamorphosized. They've turned into a bee, just like a butterfly. And the bee emerges in the spring, bores through the little layers of mud that the female laid, and off they go. And the process starts all over again. So this bee house has just been put out. Hopefully the bees will, in the next month or so, do what they're supposed to do and lay eggs and leave larva, an egg that'll turn into a larva that will spin a cocoon, and next spring those eggs that they lay today will emerge as bees. So this is the mason bee house. It's at Glenfair School. Come check it out, but keep your social distance.